Alright guys, I'm back with my review of Smackdown from last week and tonight's Raw. This dog keeps staring at me. And Raw tonight lasted forever. I feel like it took 6 hours to watch that damn show. Just feeling really drained at the moment. But starting with Smackdown from last week, you had Eric Rowan defeat one of the Usos. I think they said Luke Harper lost to an Uso on main event. And even though no one watches main event, that's still pretty bad to have them losing to the Usos now. Especially when they're supposed to be these giant monsters. But then you had Ambrose and Reigns come out. Reigns delivers the line again to Randy Orton, saying, "You're not the face of the WWE, you're the ass." And I thought that was funny because I know a lot of people didn't like that line, and he used it again here. But Triple H says that tonight it's going to be Bray versus Ambrose, Reigns versus Barrett. So it's Barrett versus Reigns. 3MB comes out, they attack him, and he beats them up. And now they're fired. Or at least McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. So I know WWE recently released a lot of guys, like 11 wrestlers that haven't really been doing anything. No one of note. You got Teddy Long, who's been doing nothing for a very long time. Oksana was kind of a surprise just because I didn't think she was any more useless than the other divas. And McIntyre and Jinder Mahal have been on television, so that was kind of a surprise. Everyone else, it was pretty predictable. I mean, JTG, Yoshitatsu, they were never going to do anything with these guys. And Brodus Clay is kind of like McIntyre and Mahal. They could have done something with these guys, but they've been doing the comedy shtick for so long that it's going to take people a very long time to forget that. And I know Jeff Jarrett, or I've heard rumors that Jeff Jarrett is possibly interested in picking some of these guys up, but it's really not going to help him either until enough time has passed that people forget about the dancing Funkasaurus and 3MB and how McIntyre and Jinder Mahal lost a match to the little miniature bull. I mean, that stuff's still fresh in people's minds. And this reminds me, I didn't mention this because I went a while without actually watching Raw. On Mother's Day, or the week of Mother's Day, I can't remember what it was, but they showed a video of Mr. T and how he was talking about his mom in his Hall of Fame speech. And WWE showed that video on Raw. They made a video with Mr. T talking about his mom, and then they showed the dancing old black women from Brodus Clay's entrance at WrestleMania last year. And I couldn't believe that. That was kind of racist, wasn't it? But I never got to talk about that because I didn't do a review of Raw that week. But when I watched that, I was kind of blown away that they went there. I mean, Mr. T, here he is talking about his mom and how much he loves his mom. And then they show the dancing black women who were in the costume kind of like Martin Lawrence in Big Mama's house, and they're all dressed up and dancing. And it was out there. Anyways, so yeah, 3MB attacks Reigns and he fights him off. Then it's Bo Dallas versus R-Truth. I really like this. R-Truth is dancing. Bo Dallas is trying to dance with him. R-Truth grabs the mic and says, "What's up?" And then Bo Dallas takes it and he says, "What's going on?" I mean, it was entertaining and the match was okay. Bo Dallas wins. And Bo Dallas really reminds me a lot of the singer from the Polyphonic Spree. But yeah, that was the match. Commentary was funny too. Then it's Cesaro versus Sheamus. Cesaro and Heyman try to hype this match up as a real fight. And it was funny that they were talking about this being a real fight because I recently listened to a podcast, the Jim Ross Report. And it was the episode with Jim Ross and Jim Cornette. I think it was the Jim Cornette one. And Jim Ross was talking about how there's something in wrestling that needs to change, and that's guys throwing closed fist punches. And he says you got a guy climbing up the top rope, punching the guy 10 times in the head, and then there's no blood, no swelling, no bruising, nothing. And it's just ridiculous. You can't suspend disbelief for this. And he's right. And that's what I was thinking of when I watched this match. they did show some welts in this match on the guys, but you get what he's saying. I mean, it is kind of absurd that they're throwing these shots. They're saying this is going to be a real fight, and then there's no bleeding, nothing. I mean, I don't know what his answer to that is, but it is kind of a silly thing. I guess just the open-handed shots, but still, is the casual fan really going to know the difference? The closed hand, open hand, and still no blood, no bruising, no nothing. But Sheamus gets, or Cesaro gets Sheamus in a small package after Heyman distracts Sheamus, and he gets the win. It was a good finish because Cesaro was pissed off that Sheamus beat him with a small package, and that's not how a real man fights. And then he uses the same move here, so it was good. Good match, bad feud. A great Bray Wyatt promo on how he's going to win the Money in the Bank and become champion. Then it's Fandango versus Adam Rose. Rose is wearing these big Edge and Christian glasses, I guess to cover up the cut he got on his eye at a house show, and a top hat now apparently. But Rose wins with the Snapmare Driver, and after the match, one of his entourage gets in the ring, and it's Summer Rae. She attacks Layla. I don't know who's the heel in this feud. I mean, I know it's supposed to be Layla, but I feel like Summer Rae started this feud. Layla's going out with Fandango, and she really did nothing to Summer Rae. I mean, what is her involvement here? Summer Rae should be mad at Fandango, but her attacking Layla just makes her come off as the heel. Swagger versus Big E. Lana comes out, Big E gets distracted, then Zeb is trying to get Lana to go away, so Swagger gets distracted, Big E hits the big ending for the win. Alicia Fox beats Oksana, and Bray Wyatt versus Ambrose for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. This was a good matchup because both guys are supposed to be crazy, so I liked the matchup, and the match itself was pretty good. Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds, Rollins shows up on the announce table and distracts him, and then Wyatt hits Sister Abigail for the win, so he's now in the Money in the Bank match. Moving on to Monday Night Raw. Oh man, this show here, so long. And I only have 2 pages of what happened, but it just dragged on and on. Triple H and Stephanie come out. You got a lot of wrestlers on the ramp. They say tonight's going to be a battle royal to decide another qualifier in the Money in the Bank match. But the Shield's not allowed to be in it. Neither is John Cena. But they're going to give Cena one chance to get in, and it's a stretcher match against Kane. So, this, I mean, is this supposed to be a threat to Cena? He's beat guys in all types of matches. And I mean, Kane too. Didn't he feud with Kane for a while when Kane was throwing Zack Ryder off of ramps and shit? Didn't he defeat Kane in like some crazy matchups back then? Dolph versus Rollins. Rollins has terrible music. He has the exact same attire, the exact same hair. Nothing is different about him. And I think that's really hurting him now. He's still getting the "you sold out" chants and the fans are booing him, but this is just very, very plain. The music sounds generic as hell, and it's just lackluster. It's just the same old Seth Rollins. Just you're supposed to boo him now. So Rollins hits the stomp. He gets attacked by Ambrose. I'm glad he ran out. I was actually about to write down where's Reigns and Ambrose. And Ambrose runs out, he attacks him. His attire is different at least. Now he's wrestling in some Denim Deans. And he wants to fight. Triple H comes on the Titantron and says tonight Ambrose will face Wade Barrett. Ambrose took a nasty bump in this match against Barrett. He landed right on his face on the apron. He gets distracted by Rollins again. He starts brawling with Rollins up into the crowd. And he gets counted out. So Wade Barrett's the winner. Ambrose runs back in and hits the Dirty Deeds on him, which I thought was awesome. They really made Ambrose look strong here. He fought off Rollins. He laid out Wade Barrett. And he looked crazy as hell. So this was good. I really liked this. And he has a terrible theme too, actually. Reigns is backstage flirting with Vicky Guerrero because he wants to be put in the Battle Royal, even though he's not allowed to be in the Battle Royal. And she's taking Stephanie and Triple H coffee. And he's like, well, if all you want to be is some coffee girl, you better do it right. This coffee could use some sweetener. Because he knows how Triple H likes his coffee, apparently. And Vicky's like, oh, you're right. So she sits it down, and while she's gone, Reigns puts something in the coffee. He drugs it. And then Vicky comes back and picks it up, and then she sneezes on the coffee, looks at Reigns, and just goes, and leaves. This was terrible. So lame. Oh my god, man. These dogs have been farting relentlessly for days, and it smells terrible right now. Oh my god. Oh boy. The Wyatts have a segment. Then it's Sheamus versus Bray Wyatt. My eyes are going to water from that one. Sheamus goes for a brogue kick. Harper and Rowan grab him and beat him up. Then the Usos, who are out there to help Sheamus, start fighting the Wyatts. And the Wyatts beat all three of them down. And then they make a comeback and beat up the Wyatts. So they throw a ladder at him, or the Usos run up a ladder and dive onto the Wyatts, and then Sheamus throws the ladder at him. He actually hits Rowan in the head with the ladder, and I don't know if Rowan was really hurt, but he was selling his ass off if he wasn't. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I thought it was bad. I mean, the Wyatts are just getting their asses kicked every week. Vicky finally shows up with the coffee. She spills Triple H's coffee, and he gets upset at her, but Stephanie's drinking hers. Then Stephanie's backstage talking to Renee Young with the coffee in her hand, just to get that point across. WWE is like Blue's Clues. They have to explain everything every single week for the dumbest person possible who could be watching the show. And so Stephanie's standing there drinking coffee, talking to Renee, something she never does, and she's drinking it like she's never had coffee before in her life. And then she has to run. She's feeling sick and has to leave. Then Heyman comes up, says Cesaro's going to be the champion. It's Rusev versus Heath Slater. Slater cuts a promo talking about how the fans just want Rusev to leave and to shut up. And if you guys like Russia so much, just go back. I thought it was good. Heath Slater and his baby thing, I think, deserves a lot more credit, because now you got Bo Dallas using it, Adam Cole using it, and the first person I heard using it consistently was Heath Slater. So the guy should get some credit for that. Rusev destroys him, gets the win. And that's another thing about the firings recently. I did hear some rumors that the only reason Heath Slater was spared is because he recently had a kid. And WWE didn't want bad PR from that if they fired him. And same thing with Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne's been hurt for a very long time. And then he gets better and they fire him. Well, why didn't they fire him when he was hurt? Because that would also be bad PR, so they didn't do it. Stephanie is backstage throwing up. Vicky opens the door. Stephanie shoots projectile vomit all over Stephanie, and she's just covered in, or all over Vicky. She's covered in puke, and it was wrestle crap worthy, really. Just the stupid toilet humor. So Triple H has to take Stephanie to the hospital. They put Vicky in charge. Reigns tells Vicky that she's probably going to be fired next week, thanks to him. And because she's going to be fired, she should just give the WWE Universe what they want, put him in the Battle Royal. So she says okay. Kevin Hart is backstage. He gets surrounded by Adam Rose and his entourage. They put over his new movie, Think Like a Man 2 or something. I haven't seen Think Like a Man 1. Kevin Hart comes out to do commentary for Adam Rose and Summer Rae versus Layla and Fandango. I can only imagine what was going through this guy's mind watching this shenanigans take place in front of him. Just Fandango, Adam Rose, the whole thing. It's just so over the top. But it was a very, very short match. Adam Rose gets the win. Then Kevin Hart is dancing and crowd surfing with Adam Rose. It's the Battle Royal and had a lot of, I don't want to say jobbers, because you had some guys in there like Wade Barrett, RVD, but then you also had Los Matadores and Xavier Woods. It just, the only guy who stood a chance of winning this Battle Royal was Roman Reigns, possibly Rusev. That was really it. I thought maybe there was a slight chance that Dolph Ziggler could actually win this Battle Royal, but that was in the beginning of the show before they announced this whole thing with Reigns trying to get in. But once Reigns was trying to get in, you knew he was going over. Sandow's thrown out first, because of course he is. Reigns eliminates Rusev to win. Predictable. Paige versus Cameron. Cameron's a heel now. She taps out. I thought this was a decent match that Paige got out of Cameron, and Paige is a good wrestler. I hope that WWE continues to build her up and keep her strong. I don't have a lot of faith in that happening because it seems like she's not really getting over, but she is a good wrestler. Then it's Goldust and the alter ego of Cody Rhodes, Stardust, versus Ryback. Stardust is phenomenal. I love this character. This is great. It reminds me of in Dragon Ball Z when Gohan becomes a superhero. And he comes out and he's got these stars that connect on his hands. And this music, he's painted up like Goldust. It was great. I really like the Stardust character. And now that it's Stardust and Goldust, they finally beat Ryback. They're winning again. Cena beats Kane in the stretcher match. The match itself, for having such a stupid gimmick, wasn't that bad, actually. The match itself. There was some interference. Rollins and Orton run out, and they try to beat up Cena, which I was happy about, because I did not want Cena in the Money in the Bank match. I didn't want Kane either, but hey, I'll take Kane over Cena. So they try to beat up Cena. Ambrose runs out, tries to fight him off, and all this bullshit happens, and then Cena ends up hitting the AA on Kane onto the stretcher, pushes him across the finish line. Sounds so ridiculous, and gets the win. So now Cena's in the Money in the Bank match. You got Cesaro, Sheamus, Reigns, and I really hope Bray Wyatt wins. That's who I want to win, but I think it's going to be Randy Orton. And that was Raw. So I didn't really think it was that good of a show. It just lasted a really long time with nothing to keep me interested. I thought, okay, the Battle Royal could be cool. It wasn't. The stretcher match I didn't care about. I dreaded that match taking place. The entire show I was like, ugh, I know that damn stretcher match is coming up. So nothing really special here, but that's my review. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts on the show in the comments, and thanks for watching.